guys, welcome back. Today we're doing something a little different. I have a tutorial for you. This is something quick and easy. You can do it in an afternoon. It's going to be great. We are going to take a vintage pillowcase like this and turn it into a super cute little tank top. Now obviously this is going to be this size, standard size tank top pillowcase. It's going to be for a smaller body, but if you stay tuned, I have an easy modification for some larger girls. Alright, let's jump right in. For this project, you'll need a pillowcase, a ruler or tape measure, cutting tools, either scissors or a rotary cutter, some pins or sewing clips, and an iron. Okay, so once you have everything together, we're ready to get started. So I first just held the pillowcase up to my body and put a couple pins marking how long I wanted the length of the pillowcase top to be. And then we're going to go from there. So once you have a rough idea of how long you want it to be, we're going to cut an inch down from that line. That gives us an extra inch of fabric to do a hem at the bottom of the top. So on my pillowcase, that means I'm going to be cutting 13 inches off of the bottom, and I'm going to use the bottom edge of the pillowcase to measure where to cut so that it's nice and straight. So let's cut. And I'm just using my rotary cutter here, cutting 13 inches off of either side, and then I'm going to cut straight across the middle. Okay, I can put my ruler down here and cut from either end to the center. And to be honest, this is just quick and easy. We're not going to be super exact. I'm just making something cute and fun. But now, take my pins out, you can see we already have the basics of our little top. It's going to be so cute. So what we're going to do with this extra fabric now that we've cut off is use this to make our straps. Now, I thought it would be cute to have some pretty chunky straps, so I'm going to cut one long 4.5-inch strip from this fabric that I've cut off, and I'm going to fold that in half to make my straps. So you'll see what I'm talking about. But first, let's go ahead and cut a long strip of fabric for our straps. Okay, so now we have one long strip. Now this is still together, but we're going to cut this piece. This is one loop of the pillowcase, but we're going to cut this into two pieces, and that will make up our straps. So I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors for that. And I'm just cutting right next to the side seam, and then where the fold is on the other side, since it's a tubular pillowcase, if that makes sense. So now that we've cut that in half, we have our two pieces that are going to make up our straps. Now we need to get out our iron so we can iron these, and then we'll sew them. Okay, so now to make our straps, we're going to take one of our strips of fabric, and we're going to fold it lengthwise in half, wrong sides together. Okay, so that means the right side or the outside of the fabric is going to be facing up. Right, so I'm just going to fold that in half, and then I'm going to iron that. Just give it a quick iron, make sure it's nice and smooth. Okay, so now that we have our hot dog bun, I don't know if your teachers ever did that hot dog and hamburger folds in school, we're going to take the, we're going to open it back up, and we're going to take the raw edges, those edges that we cut, and we're going to fold them in about 1/4 inch. Okay, doesn't have to be exact. This doesn't have to be perfect, right? This is just something simple. So we're just going to go all the way along the length on both raw edges, folding it in 1/4 inch and ironing that flat. And this is just going to help us encase those raw edges inside our strap so that we don't have any raw edges. We have a nice, neatly finished strap. Okay, so do one side, I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. And we're going to do this to both straps. Okay, so you're going to do this twice. Okay, once you have those raw edges pressed down, we're going to fold our hot dog bun again and just give it one more press to make sure everything's neat and clean and lined up. That way if you are off anywhere you need to kind of adjust, you can do that. Okay, give that one more good press. Alright. Okay, so you can see this is going to be a real cute little strap. Set that aside, I'm going to do the other one. Okay, so now that we have our two straps, we're going to take these over to the sewing machine and stitch them up. Okay, so once you have your straps all sewn up, we're going to work on attaching them to the body of the tank top. So take one strap to start. You're going to start at the back, whichever side of the strap end you want to be at the back of the tank top. And you're going to fold it over twice towards the right side of the fabric. So I just did like a quick little 1/2 inch fold. You can see that. Just fold it over twice, and that's going to encase the raw edge. And we're going to attach this to our tank top. So I've already marked the center back of my tank top. And I want my straps to sit pretty wide, so I'm going to go about 4 inches out from the center for mine. But you might want to play around with the placement a little bit. All we're going to do right now is pin them in place for that exact reason, because once you have it pinned in place, then you can go try it on and decide if you like the placement of the straps. But this is totally up to you. This is like where it gets really customizable. You can do whatever you want. Set the straps wide. You can make skinny straps if you want. You can do a little X in the back. You can do whatever you want. Do something fun. Have at it. Alright, so I'm pinning my straps in place, and then I'm going to go try my tank top on and make sure I have my placement where I want it. But once they are attached, you can see these will go over our shoulder, and the reason we don't pin the front in place yet is because once you have it on, then you can adjust the length and decide where you want the front of the straps to sit. Okay, now that I have my straps pinned exactly where I want them on the inside of the tank top, I'm going to go stitch them on the machine. Okay, so once you have your straps sewn in place, we are ready to finish. We're so close, you guys. We're almost there. So basically what you can do now is you can leave the hem as is and just fold it under 1/4 inch, another 1/4 inch, iron that down and stitch it in place, and that can be the end, or the hem, sorry, of your top. But since I have this extra piece of fabric that I cut off the bottom, I am going to turn this into a little ruffle to put on the bottom because I just think that would be such an adorable, cute little detail. So let's do that. Okay, to make my ruffle, I'm first going to cut off the bottom of this piece of pillowcase because I want nice straight lines. Okay, and then I am going to cut open the side seam. So I have one long strip of fabric. Okay, so now that it is cut, you can see I have one nice long piece of fabric. And I'm going to cut this, I'm going to fold it again so that it's easier to cut. I'm going to cut it in half again lengthwise. So. Okay, so now I can take these 2 strips of fabric, 1 and 2, and we're going to sew them together to make a long loop, and then we're going to gather them into a ruffle. But we also have to finish the bottom edge to make sure that we have our hem in place. So we're going to do both of those steps now. Okay, so once you have all of the raw edges on both your tank top and your little ruffle peplum finished, then it's time to attach the ruffle to the top. So I'm just going to grab my little clips here and clip it right on. Okay, so as you can see, my top is all done. I added the peplum to the bottom, the wide straps. I kept mine simple because I want mine to be like a little sleeve top, so I wanted to keep it simple. But there's so many different ways that you can take these. I've also made 2 more with 2 other pillowcases. And I did mention that you can also widen it. So for this top, I just added 2 little pieces, wedges basically, of fabric to the sides to make some little contrast panels, but also to add some width to this top. But there's so many things you could do. You could add side ties, you could cut it down the middle and do like 4 different panels. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can customize it. I added little bows to this one with this one. I did a completely different shape for the top, and I added ties for the straps. Again, another peplum. I just love my little ruffle peplums. I think they're so cute. And then I added little like darts here in the front and the back, so this one has a little more snug fit and then flows out the bottom. But yeah, there's so many different things that you can do with a pillowcase. Just take it, chop it up, and see what you come up with. If you guys do decide to make a pillowcase top, please tag me in it. I would love to see what you come up with. But otherwise, would you wear a pillowcase as a top? Because this thing's pretty comfy, not gonna lie. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time.